Living in America right now feels like a punishment. You wake up already behind, you go to work just to stay broke, and you watch the cost of everything rise while your paycheck doesn't move an inch. Groceries are a luxury, rent is robbery, healthcare is a joke, and somehow we're the ones blamed for not budgeting better. People are working 2, 3 jobs and still choosing between food or gas. Families are crammed into apartments because buying a house became a fantasy. You can't afford to get sick, you can't afford to rest, you can't afford to exist. But they keep telling us the economy is strong. Strong for who? Because it sure as hell isn't the people doing the work. We're out here treading water while billionaires build rockets, politicians trade stocks, and corporations raise prices just because they can. We were promised opportunity, we got survival. And what makes this worse is watching people blame themselves. Like somehow you failed because you can't afford a 1-bedroom anymore. Like you didn't do enough when the truth is the math just stopped adding up years ago. They told us to work harder, but never told us they'd change the finish line. This isn't a country full of lazy people. It's a country full of exhausted ones. Simple as that.
Bankruptcies are skyrocketing. Right now, more trucking companies are going bankrupt, more restaurants. Farm bankruptcies are up 35% higher than 2024. Hi, today is your update in the economy. It's October 12th, 2025. We are day 12 of the government shutdown. Our economy is collapsing every single day. Look at this. Airports are a disaster. Last time we had government shutdown in 2018, we lost $3 billion every week in travel alone. Let's not forget about the safety. Donald Trump fires over 4,000 government workers, and now museums and all that stuff in Washington are closed. Washington has an unemployment rate of 6% before the government shutdown. Expect a catastrophic crisis in Washington. We have lost over 1 million jobs this year. Inflation is 2.9%. Groceries are up 29%. We are in a recession in 22 states. We are in a recession in construction. We are in a recession in manufacturing. The stock market tanked on Friday, dropping 900 points. Drop a comment below if you want to stay on the algorithm to get your update on the economy and the stock market on Monday, October 13th.
All right, because in America, you guys have the most powerful voice. Okay, you built this country. Okay, everyone knows it. All right, and granted, you did it mostly against your will, but you fucking did it. Okay, and then you broke the chains of the oppressors. Okay, and we need you guys to take that expertise and show this country that it's being evil again.
Black people have been literally begging this country and all of its citizens to see us wholly, to hear us fully since the beginning of time. The struggle to be seen and respected in this country is so intrinsically woven throughout the fabric of who we are. It's motivating and inspiring, but somewhat depressing. If you think about how much it's affected the Black culture, from our music to artists like Nina Simone, all the way to Ice Cube, Public Enemy, Tupac, Kendrick Lamar, Curtis Mayfield, have spoken about our struggle and seeing us.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel once again. So guys, majority of white Americans, they are not happy with this administration simply because they voted massively to punish black people, but right now they are saying that this government is not punishing black people how they wanted, and that's why they are not happy seeing black people. They are not complaining. They are not happy seeing black people not suffering, and also right now they are mad and furious simply because they are seeing black people, they are becoming more successful while they are suffering. So kindly guys, I want you to watch this video, compilation of video, and see how white people, they are really furious. Then I'll be back with more comment. All credit goes to the original creator of the video. I'm your host, Dash Lifestyle.
I'm at the point in my life where I feel like if this is not fucking rock bottom, I don't know what is. Because I told my director, I told everyone my situation. I have 6 days to figure out a second job, and then the job that I have now just cut to part-time. I have 3 kids. I'm about to be fucking homeless. And I don't know what to do. Like, I told them my situation, and they basically were like, let's kick this bitch while she's down. So now it looks like I'm going to be finding 2 jobs instead of just having to find another one. I feel like this is never going to get better. I fucking hate being an adult, and never in my life have I struggled this fucking bad, and this is the most money that I've ever made.
The U.S. Department of Labor released a memo just a few days ago explaining that Donald Trump's policies are in fact already ruining your lives, but they're about to actually make your life so much worse to the point where you may not even be able to purchase food. And again, this is coming from the United States Department of Labor under Donald J. Trump himself. His own Labor Department had to put out this memo or letter or whatever it is you want to call it to warn Americans that this guy is ruining your life. And of course, he's doing it, according to the Labor Department, by deporting all of the farm workers in the United States. We already have a massive shortage of labor on American farms. We have had farmers, representatives come out and tell us that. The farmers themselves have come out and told us that. We don't have people to go out there and do the work. To pick the crops, to till the fields, to plant the seeds. We don't have human beings to do that now because of Trump's policies, and a lot of those people voted for those policies. But as I've always said, I'm on the fence about sympathy because when the farmers go under, all of us are affected. If it were just them suffering the consequences of their votes, you get what you vote for, right? But their suffering leads to suffering for all of us. So, we're all in the same boat on this one because every human being on the planet has to have food to survive. And we're at a point, according to the Labor Department, you may not be able to afford it anymore. Here is what they said. The current and imminent labor shortage, exacerbated by the near total cessation of the inflow of illegal aliens, increased enforcement of existing immigration law, and global competitiveness pressures described below, presents a sufficient risk of supply shock-induced food shortages to justify immediate implementation. The lack of undocumented and documented workers results in significant disruptions to production costs and threatening the stability of domestic food production and prices for U.S. consumers.
I'm really starting to think that Trump is purposely trying to destroy the U.S. economy and get America to collapse the way the USSR did so that him and his billionaire buddies can buy everything up for pennies on the dollar and turn us into a full-blown oligarchy the way Russia did after the USSR collapsed. That's the only thing that makes sense in my brain, because everything that he is doing is isolating America from its allies. He is destroying trade on the world stage with us and all of the people we do trade with. I mean, China's putting exports on restrictions on all of their rare earth exports at this point. There's literally nothing that he's done since he took office that is good for the American people or the American economy. Everything that he has done has been for billionaires and has been at the detriment of the U.S. as a country. Like, our entire workforce is being decimated now as he's sending a whole bunch of people out of the country who used to do jobs like construction and farming. So we're going to have a food shortage because there's not enough people picking the food. We're going to have a worse housing problem because there's not enough people building the houses. And it literally seems like everything that he is doing is just designed to destroy this country. And yet the MAGA people are still licking his boots. It's wild.
Have you ever noticed that everything Donald Trump touches turns to a big pile of steaming shit? It doesn't matter if we're talking about the economy, foreign policy, domestic policy, even something so simple as manners. It goes from being thriving and robust to a big stinking pile of caca. Why aren't Americans out on the streets protesting Trump's policies like they do over in Europe? Well, I'll take a shot at answering that. I'm not an expert, But I have opinions on the subject. If you're willing to listen, I'm willing to share. To begin with, I think there's a significant group of Americans who are simply apathetic. They don't care. They're willing to let the next guy handle it. They don't want to stick their necks out. There is yet another group of Americans who are simply so beaten down by the struggle of day-to-day life in this country that they don't have the energy to care. If you're a banker, if you're an attorney, if you're an engineer or an architect, a medical professional, or if you're in one of the specialized trades like electrical or plumbing, you can make a very good life here. But if you're not, there's a good chance you're struggling. And when you come home at night after that second job, all you want to do is collapse on the couch and put your feet up. You don't want to go out marching. I think Americans tend to have a negative perception of protesters, probably stemming from the days of the Vietnam War, when college students were out in the streets clashing violently with police. Americans, despite all the braggadocio and bravado, are a fairly docile bunch of people. They do what they're told. Additionally, there can be negative consequences for protesting in this country. For example, American corporations are incredibly sensitive to how they are perceived in the public eye. If it became known that a group of their employees was out marching in the streets and waving signs, there might be negative consequences. Those employees could face severance. I had a boss one time tell me that he didn't want to see me out marching in gay pride parades. It happens. Additionally, there's the risk of physical harm. It wouldn't surprise me at all to hear that a group of MAGA brown shirts had descended on some protesters and tried to beat them up. And you have to remember that Americans are armed to the teeth. Guns are everywhere. In my state, you can carry a gun in your pocket without a permit or a license. But I think the biggest reason that Americans are not out protesting in the streets about Trump's policies is that they agree with them. I know that sounds incredible, but it's true. This is an aggrieved group of people who do not want the nation sharing its wealth with other countries. They feel like America has been taken advantage of by other countries. They are tired of seeing us give away our money and our resources to other countries. They don't want people from other countries coming over here to take advantage of the benefits and the opportunities that we have. They don't want to share. Back in World War I or World War II, you would have called these people isolationists. They don't want to get involved. They don't care what happens to Ukraine. They don't care what happens to Taiwan. They don't care what happens to Europe. They simply want to keep everything to themselves. In order to understand the American mindset, you have to know something about the way Americans live, because it is dramatically different than the way people in Europe live. In Europe, people read books, they go to museums, they travel, they're exposed to other cultures, other languages, other lifestyles. They're much more cosmopolitan in their perception of how the world exists and how we all get along with each other. Here in the States, it's completely the opposite. If you watched American TV commercials, you would think that we spend our discretionary time out rock climbing or kissing under the stars or roping cattle or doing any number of things that keep us engaged with each other. The fact is, we don't live like that at all. In America, people adore technology, and they have been seduced by media. And by media, I don't mean the news media, I mean the medium itself. Television, movies, the internet, video games. They spend a great deal of their discretionary time consuming media. And the problem with America's fascination with technology and its adoration of media is that it can be very isolating. For instance, in America, you don't have to go to an office building to work anymore. You can work from home. You don't have to go to the grocery store or to the department store to pick up your goods. You can just have them delivered. You don't have to go out to a restaurant to enjoy a meal. Have it delivered to your house. You don't have to go to a movie theater to watch a movie. Just stream it on your computer or your TV. So Americans spend a great deal of time home alone. They are not exposed to a multiplicity of cultures or languages or experiences. They're home alone. And because this technology allows them to do it, they can curate their information sources so that they only hear the information that they want to hear. In other words, their biases are confirmed. over and over and over. So in Europe, where you have large groups of people living in close proximity to each other, with a variety of cultures, a variety of languages, and a variety of worldviews, here in the United States, you tend to have people living in silos and echo chambers of confirmation bias. Is it any wonder that Americans live in such extreme conditions? There's no middle ground in this country anymore. You're either extreme left or extreme right. The middle ground has been eliminated by the technology that enables people to be alone all the time. We've basically become a nation of angry sociopaths. And that's why people don't get out and protest, because they agree with what Trump is doing. Trump appeals to their confirmation bias. The country is like an open wound, and Trump is quite literally the infection that is exploiting that open wound. So if you're wondering why Americans don't protest, I think that's why.
So it's make Argentina great again. It's make Israel better. It's anything but America first. And now he's going to take away food stamps the whole month of November. And let me tell you what, 1 out of every 5 people that are on food stamps are veterans. They have fought for this country, and President Trump is punishing poor people for the No Kings rally. That's what he's doing. See, President Trump doesn't want to be president anymore. He wants to be the king. He's already established everything that he has to do. And look, you've seen what them young Republicans were writing, and you've seen that guy come out and say, well, this is just what all Republicans do and say behind the scenes. It's no big deal. This is how we all feel. They're all racist, male chauvinist, pedophiles, and now they want us to accept that. Look, President Trump's ratings are dropping like the rent on a burning building. He doesn't care that you don't agree with what he's doing. He's just going to start punishing the poorest of us all. And that's making America great.
America is falling behind. When an authoritarian regime attacks academia, science, news reporters, free speech, students, the best and the brightest leave. The same thing happened in Germany, in Russia, in Greece, and it's happening here. And this hurts the country because all of the talent is going elsewhere to help another country.
This isn't me trying to fearmonger, this is just me trying to prepare you. The US economy right now is like a Jenga tower with 18 fucking pieces missing. We are one piece pulled out away from everything just toppling down. AI was responsible for 40% of US GDP growth this past year and 80% of US stock growth. And the manufacturing industry has contracted for 7 consecutive months, while every other economic indicator is saying this is as bad as things have been since 2009. Now, when you have a sentence that says the economy is as bad as it's been since 2009, you are fucked. So again, this is not me fear-mongering, this is just me preparing you. Our economy is in a very bad place. If you have a job, hold on to it with everything you have.
I want us all on the same page. The reason there may not be any SNAP benefits in November is because Trump cut the budget to the USDA, which runs SNAP. Not only that, he basically gutted the emergency funding for SNAP. It went from billions of dollars to $500 million. Now, during Trumpy's first term, we had the longest shutdown in the history of this country, but SNAP benefits were never threatened. Why? Because the USDA was fully funded to include emergency measures, which paid for SNAP benefits. Now, millions of Americans may go without their SNAP benefits because of Trumpy's cuts. And remember, just a few months ago, they told us they were no longer going to report the status of hunger in this country. Because if you can't prove you're hungry, nobody's going to give a fuck.
I'm going to make a video that is very high level in finance, but needs to be redirected to as many eyeballs as possible because this is eventually going to affect everyone, including yourself. And this is not a doom and gloom. This is simply just a high level overview of what is coming and what the impacts will have on your life. I've made videos about this stuff before, but they've been very in-depth. So I want to make a video that is much higher level overview to give everyone an understanding for themselves and how they can prepare. On August 11th, the United States national debt surpassed $37 trillion. Now, you might ask, well, why is this really important? Well, October 2025, or September, I guess you could say the end of September, is when the national debt, or essentially the fiscal year of 2025, ended. And we ended at a debt of 37.6 trillion, which means in a month and a half, we added another $600 billion to the national debt. The United States economy, when you look underneath the surface, it isn't doing too hot. Again, I'm not going to go into the weeds, but when you look into the data, it's really not actually doing that hot. And with that, we have 10 companies, 10 tech companies that are keeping the economy, quote unquote, afloat. Problem with this is it's very much looking very bubblish, very 2001, very 1929-esque. Now, the problem with this is the United States government has way too much debt. We are at something called a debt to GDP ratio of 125%. I think it's a little more now, like 125.4%. The reality of the situation is if the United States economy takes a turn downward because these companies aren't able to produce the results that they're essentially being invested into at the valuations that they have, or essentially you can put it in terms of like they're looking as shiny as they can be, and if they're not as shiny as they actually are later down the road, then everything in the market could essentially pop. Now the problem with this is the United States economy, or the United States government, has been a backstop. The United States government does not have the financial capability to backstop this bubble popping. And the genuine concern is that if this bubble pops, the United States government will not be able to fund, it will not be able to bring in the money that is able to then fund the government, the debt itself. And so typical things like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, the largest expenses to the government will have to start dwindling. Now, if this gets even more severe, how does this start to affect the socio-political sphere? And what if the money itself for things like subsidies of energy, like oil, or subsidies for things like food, what if that starts getting affected and farmers can't produce the food that we need, and oil companies can't produce the energy that we need, and we have essentially a sell-off and the inability to fuel the people that we have? What happens then? And genuinely, I would typically say, hey, the United States will be able to get through this. Humans have ingenuity, and we have the ability to see the problems, be able to work around the problems, create solutions to the problems. But the only caveat to this is when you have a problem, it tends to be something that's a little more concrete. But what we're talking about now is not a concrete problem. What we're talking about is a system failure, a point where the actual government, the entire thing that we know of collectively as what we all bank on as being secure, pops and it goes away. And that's the genuine concern. And so the spiral looks like this. The hype gets real in artificial intelligence that it's going to be able to boost productivity and help us grow out of the national debt. Then the productivity, the AI bubble pops instead of it being a real boom. And then that spirals over to the government not having the capital or the money to be able to fund the debt. And then the debt spirals, and then the debt causes the United States government to go insolvent. And then the entire populace turns into a socio-political, violent collapse. This definitely isn't a conversation you want to have over a dinner table. But again, more people need to be aware of this situation, because it is a process that is playing out right in front of our eyes. So let's talk about it now before the situation actually is around the corner.
All right, so SNAP is going away in November. There's no more money. I was at No Kings yesterday, and I was talking with a federal worker who runs a welfare office. And he was telling me that him and his staff have been training for de-escalation, because there are going to be some very angry people going to that office asking why their kids are going hungry. They're going to be very angry, and this is going to be people's breaking point. Like that's just all there is to it. And especially for November, when it's supposed to be a time about food, especially around Thanksgiving. So all I'm going to say is, if you see somebody grabbing up some food, trying to run away with it, no, you didn't. You didn't see shit. If you see somebody desperately trying to get food, you did not see a damn thing. You were paying attention to your children. You got focused on the products that you were browsing. You have a hard time hearing. I'm deaf in my left ear. I can't hear very well, especially directional hearing. My directional hearing is bad. Or maybe you're having some temporary blurry vision. You didn't see shit. You saw nothing.
Hey y'all, did y'all know that only a president can inflict martial law? But he needs just cause to do that. But did you also know that only he can take martial law off the table? So that means he can keep martial law on for as long as he see fit. So in 2 years, when we want to vote these spineless ass congressmen out of office and put people in there that'll stand up to him, that's if he lasts 2 years, that he can still say we under martial law. And during martial law, there's no elections going on. You can't do elections during martial law. So he's trying to bait black people to go out there and do violence and protest so he can say, oh, martial law, so it won't be no elections. Then that motherfucker can stay in there forever. In 4 years, he can say, oh, we're still under martial law. That's what he's trying to do. So I'm going to keep putting videos out there and say, black people, stay in the house. The system been doing us wrong for so fucking long, and now the system needs us for violence. It needs our attitude. It needs our violence. It needs us to get angry. So they trying to release people that they know will make us angry. So just stay angry and just stay sitting. Because by doing nothing, we're disrupting this natural flow of America. America is being disrupted. Because without black people doing what we do best, the system is breaking down. And not to mention Trump breaking down the system by his damn self. But it needs us. So we ain't going to give him what he wants. Release them all. That's all I say. We still ain't going to do nothing. They'll probably get theirs in the street, but we ain't going to do nothing. We ain't going to go out there. We're sitting down and doing nothing because right now we're fucking winning this shit. And we could play the long game. We've been playing this game since America started. We can start this game over again.
Black Americans, us going out in the street, holding demonstrations, and marching is no longer effective. Not only is it not effective, it's foolhardy. I know that's going to be a very controversial statement, but I really don't care. I only care about my community and our collective safety. Because I'm tired of hashtags, I'm tired of memorial services, I'm tired of GoFundMes to support the victims of state-sponsored violence. And that is all that you will get if you participate in No Kings demonstrations and other forms of protest that require you to take your black body out of your home and into these streets. The fascist regime that we are under is itching for a chance to unleash violence so that they can officially declare martial law across the land. They're already testing it out in Washington, D.C., and they're trying to target other blue cities right now, like Chicago. But see, they haven't been given an excuse yet to unleash the kind of violence that they want to unleash. But the moment we black Americans go out in these streets en masse, they will have every excuse. Just like with the Black Lives Matter movement that was co-opted by outside agitators. And there is still that racist narrative about cities and neighborhoods burning down. Name me one city and one neighborhood that burnt down, and any property destruction that did occur was again from outside agitators. They are wanting to do that again. The time for we Black Americans to protest out in these streets is over. The most effective way for us to protest is with our dollars. The ones who need to go out in the street and march and demonstrate are the ones who have the complexion for protection, who got us in this mess in the first place. And they still have not drummed up that energy yet. They think about demonstrations and protesting as chances to get together and socialize with bounce houses and food carts and trucks. They haven't brought the energy up yet that they need to. And we do not need to go out there and make ourselves targets of law enforcement and the military, who again are just itching for a chance to unleash violence and to give this regime an excuse to go full on fascist while our blood and bodies run in the street. We are entering the major holiday season of this year. Now is the time to continue doing what we have been doing, putting that economic pressure on, saving our money, and when we do spend our money, being very selective to spend it with products and services and businesses that respect the Black American dollar and our community. That's how we are going to affect real change. These days of demonstrations and protests ultimately will not move the needle one bit. And I stand by that. Again, I'm only concerned with the safety and security of our community. Is it time for us to stop resting and to get back out in the street? No, it is not time for us to get back out in the street. It never will be again, in my opinion. We are resting, but we are resisting with the most important weapon we have, our cash. Y'all be careful out here.
Yep, we told y'all. We keep telling y'all. Y'all don't listen. Y'all going through the same thing that every black man and woman has been going through for centuries in this country and still going through it today. But now y'all want solidarity. Y'all want us to band together with y'all. No. You hear Spanish? No. Y'all don't even like us. You don't even want to deal with us. When we protest, where you? You wouldn't know where we found. You know what I'm saying? Now you got people from Palestine, people here, they want us to solidarity with them. No. No. When we protest, where you at? See, black folk, we have to understand that we're here by ourselves. Nobody likes us. The white community don't like us. The Hispanic community don't like us. The Jewish community don't like us. The Arab community don't like us. Shit, the Asian community don't like us. And what have we done to them? We do more to ourselves than we do to them. We don't invade their country. We don't do none of that. We have never done anything in history to none of these people for them to hate us. But all of a sudden, when things don't go right for them over here, they want us to join teams when they won't join teams with us when we're going through it. Man, no. Let that shit end today. That's over with. We're gonna stand back and watch y'all go through what y'all go through. We're not helping. Until you help us, we're not helping. You know, our biggest problem is that we show more love to the outside community than we do to our own community. And that's where we need to start looking and focusing on our own community. We need to clean our community up. We need to grow our community. We need to educate our community. That's what we need to do. We can't be helping somebody else's house when our own house is messed up. But, you know, they call us thugs. They call us everything. But you can't say we don't have a heart. You know what I'm saying? We love everybody that don't love us back. And that shit needs to stop. Stand up, black people. Let's take care of our own. What they got going on, they voted for it. Let them have it. Deal with that shit, because we out.
92% of the black community have decided to stand down and to let them do all the work. We have showed them the game plan. We have told them what to do. We tried to lead them to the glories of fresh water, and they decided not to drink it. At this point, it is not our fault if you starve. It is not our fault if you are dehydrated. If you are thirsty, drink, because we showed you how to create a pond of water within your hands. Seeing the entire country quite literally and figuratively burn down to the ground, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of makes me a little anxious. Because I am missing something. I am missing something incredibly important. You know what that is? I am missing a black woman who can drink hot green tea with me. That's what I'm missing. For those who don't know, I am absolutely obsessed with green and jasmine tea. It's one of my favorite drinks. No sugar, no GMOs, no added supplements, just the nature and the leaves itself. What's interesting is this. Every now and then, I will get tagged into videos from other people of color, and they will ask me and other black people, why don't you help us? Why won't you help us? Why are you abandoning us? It's the same answer of what I said 3 months ago after the presidential election. You betrayed us. We trusted you and you stabbed us in the back. Here is a phrase that I continuously say to my friends because it is critically important. Trust and love is very important. However, trust is 10 times more valuable than love ever will be. I can still love you. I can still care about you. But I do not trust you enough to where you won't stab me in the back. Trust is the complete opposite. I can despise you and you can be my enemy, but I am no fool. If I can trust you enough to where you won't stab me in the back, then that trust will be placed. It's the same way with this. To the Latinos, to the Asians, to other people of color, I do care about them. I love y'all even. But I am no fool. I know I can't trust you because that election told me everything I needed to know. That election told me that a lot of you is not on the black community side. Love itself, my love for you, is not enough for me to have faith in you. If your trust was unbound and you continuously shown to me and everyone else that you are worth to be trusted, then we wouldn't be having this conversation, now would we? But because you have shown time and time and time again that you cannot be trusted, why are you acting surprised when we take our trust back? People need to understand that black people are not hateful. We care about you guys. We do love you guys, but we can't trust you for shit. So if the entire country has to burn down for you to realize that you have placed your trust into the wrong people, then so be it. That's all I gotta say on the matter. It is Onyx.
So guys, I hope you have watched that video and see how white people, they are really furious and how they are mad because majority of them, they voted for this administration. They voted to punish black people. They voted against their own interests. These people, they voted for racism, but right now they are realizing that racism, it is very expensive. And also majority of the people who are coming out and complaining about food stamp, majority of them, they have come out to realize that it is white people, because coming this November, the 1st November, the government, it is planning to end food SNAP benefits. They are not going to get a SNAP benefit, and because of that, you have been seeing majority of Americans coming out and crying and telling people that how life it is going, how cutting down SNAP benefit it is going to affect them. But it has come out, they have come out and realized that the people who are coming out and complaining the end of SNAP benefit, it is not the black Americans, it is white Americans. So they are coming out and see that black Americans, they will not be affected with this SNAP benefit because also majority of them, they are not coming out and complaining. But black people, they knew what it is coming, and majority of them, they plan. Majority of them, they organized themselves because they knew what it is coming, how this government it is going, it is coming to really make things to be difficult. And that's why right now you are seeing black people, they are not complaining. Black people, they are not yes, black people, they are suffering, but you can see black people, they are not coming out and crying how these white folks, they are crying right now. So this is tell you that these people, they voted for this so that black people can be taken away their Medicare, black people, they can, so that the government can take away their SNAP benefit, so that they can suffer more in America. But it has turned out that this policy, it is cutting across. It is not only punishing black people, also them, it is punishing them, and they are coming out and realize that they did a mistake for voting for this administration. So guys, I want to read some of the comment and see what black people they have come out and say in the comment section. This one saying that welcome to being people of color. This one saying that this is amazing watching the fall of America. Yeah, right now America, it is falling. We have seen the government took away their Medicare. Right now we are seeing, we saw government shutting down, which make a majority of people to lose their jobs. And also right now we are seeing government, it is ending SNAP benefits. So these people, they feel like this America, it is falling down because of how this government, it is working. These people, they didn't vote for this, but right now they are realizing that this government, it is now making them to suffer more, and they feel like America, it is falling down. This one saying that we, the black community, are not doing better. We are surviving better. Yeah, exactly. I can tell you that also black people, they are suffering, but these people, they have used to, they know how to thrive in a bad economy. They know how to thrive even when the government, it is not favoring them. This one is saying that stay out the way while these fall. This one saying that stay out of the way while these fall. This one saying that even wonder how the world is book of how the world is book. Trump watched the trailer and thought I can do that. So this one is saying that they are weak, son, so will have your way. This one is saying that bail out the farmers and they will return and vote for the same said administration. Exactly. So even if right now we are seeing majority of farmers going bankrupt, and they are the people who brought all this problem. You can imagine these white farmers, they knew very well that the people who are helping them in the farms, they are immigrant people, but these people, they went ahead and vote so that these immigrant people can be deported in America. So when the ICE came and raided in the farms, deporting immigrant people back to their homes, we are now seeing these people, they are crying simply because the workers, they are not showing up. They are crying their crops, it is rotting in the farms, and majority of them, they are going bankrupt simply because the people who they were helping them, they are not showing up in the farms. So because of that, they are really suffering, and majority of them, they are selling their lands to the JD vans. So you can imagine how it is. The government came out and make them to suffer so that they can sell their lands to the billionaires who are in government. So this one is saying that Trump told you what he was going to do in each rally, post or interview, and you still vote for him and all of what he is doing and will continue to do if you don't stop him. Exactly. These people, I don't know why these people, that are crying, and they saw exactly, and Donald Trump, he was openly saying what he's going to do. But these people, they feel like they saw that Donald Trump is coming to punish black people, but not them. So right now, Donald Trump, whatever Donald Trump is doing is exactly what he promised to do. So let them suffer, and next time they should vote. They should not vote against their own interest. This one is saying that personally, don't compare myself to anyone. I am better than I was yesterday and grind hard for my family. This one saying that have a plan if you plan to have. This one saying that this is America. Absolutely, yes, always has been. It's just on full display now. This one saying that why are blacks doing better than us? The most untrue question stated I ever read. Get the racists out of government and put the people champ in ME. This was saying that white farmers should employ the robot that Amazon plans to so this one saying that white farmers, they need to employ the Amazon, because these people, they voted for deportation, knowing that after the immigrant people who are helping them in the farms getting deported, the black people will come and help them in the farms. But right now they are having a rude awakening simply because black Americans, they have refused to go and help them in the farm. In their farms. This one is saying that get an education in something that pays, no bullshit degrees, no goddamn student loan. You can get a data analyst or cyber security career going after 6 months. If you are hardworking and smart enough, get off your ass and make it happen. So you can see these are some of the message that majority of black Americans, they are sending it to the white Americans. So kindly guys, subscribe if you haven't, like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one. Bye bye guys.